Hello and welcome to Walker's Point Marina. My name is Bruce Reed, and today I'm going to show you some of the features that are common throughout the Cobalt lineup that make a Cobalt the spectacular boats that they are. We can start right off with the actual construction of the hull. Cobalt uses 8 layers of 100% hand-laid fiberglass, overlapped a foot either side of the keel, so you have 16 layers of fiberglass at the keel. That's reinforced there with Kevlar, which is 10 times stronger than fiberglass. The net result is that when you get into the choppy water, the boat is not flexing very much or anything like that, so you always have that total feeling of control of the boat. A lot of people equate it to the ride of a high-end car versus a middle-of-the-road car. There is that much of a difference in these boat lines. The exterior of the boat is what they call a gel coat layer. Cobalt averages 25 mils thick in gel coat. What that means for you is that this boat can be buffed back time and time again. Any little scratches can be easily repaired. The industry average is about 14 mils. Cobalt's almost double that. All this equates to longevity. The Cobalt will retain its fit and finish well beyond our years, for sure. Moving to the back of the boat, every Cobalt has a very usable, nice wide swim platform for all your water sport activities. The Cobalt patented what they call their swim step about 6 years ago. Makes it so easy to reboard the boat when you're swimming, doing some water sports activities, whatever. And your family pet would love this as well. It's very easy for them to board the boat as well. Okay, so back in 1988, Cobalt came out with what they call their extended running surface hull design. And what that is, if you could see how the drive is set into the back of the boat here, and this whole area here on both sides of the drive is what they call their extended running surface. What that does for you is when you're accelerating in the boat, it counterbalances the natural tendency of the bow to rise. So the driver will never, ever lose sight of what's in front of him, which is really important. A lot of the competitors' boats see you accelerate and the bow comes way up in the air and then 5-10 seconds later it comes back down again. In the meantime, the driver's blind pretty well to what's in front of them. This will never, ever happen with a Cobalt. You can have 4 people sitting in the back seat. It doesn't change anything. The driver will never lose sight of what's in front of them. It also greatly enhances your maneuverability at high speeds. So when you're doing a corner, having more of the hull in the water, the boat turns just like it's on rails. And every Cobalt will do that. It's a very safe and secure feeling. Moving on to the stern drive here, every Cobalt has this is a Volvo. This is a Volvo dual prop system. Merc would be the Bravo 3 system. What it is, it's the 2 props system that, and they're counter-rotating. So if you see, I'm turning one and the other one's going the other opposite direction. What that does for you, let me explain what a single prop will do for you. The single prop, when you're coming into your dock, or your boathouse, or coming into a busy marina for gas, at low speed, your bow is wandering back and forth with a single prop. And that is a result of the usually a right-hand rotation on the single prop that creates some torque forces on the front of the boat. They call it yawing back and forth. And you're always trying to guess where that bow is going to be when you come to your landing point. With the dual prop system, because they're counter-rotating, those torque forces are balanced. So the boat will track perfectly straight for you at low speed. So you always know where that bow is when you're coming into your dock, your boathouse, wherever. Also in reverse, with a single prop, you put it in reverse and you're being walked out to the right-hand side all the time. And there's really nothing you can do about it. That's just the way it's going to go. Because once again, it's a result of that single prop rotation. With the dual prop, again, if you want to turn, you can go left, you can go right. So pulling out of a busy marina, it's a piece of cake. You really look like a pro when you're docking your boat. And that's largely as a result of the dual prop system, which is standard on all Cobalts. Well, common to every Cobalt is the extensive use of stainless steel. And there's a lot of things that are behind the scenes, underneath the exterior of the boat, that can't be seen that Cobalt does that very few other boat companies will do. For instance, the mooring cleats. A lot of companies will through boat them and then just put a washer and a nut underneath there. If you looked underneath this Cobalt here, what you would see is a 1/4-inch aluminum backing plate, that makes it just a permanent fixture. And these are subject to a lot of stress. If they're tied up at a dock and it's a windy day, there's a lot of stress on these mooring cleats. They'll last forever. That's just a small example. Extensive use of stainless steel everywhere in the boat. All the fittings, through-hull fittings and everything are all stainless steel. Cobalt come out with their recessed logo as well, which is very, very nice, very stylish. But everywhere you look on the boat, extensive use, the stainless steel rub rail, cleats, every fitting is all stainless steel. And even up to the front of the boat, your horn cover, this is for trailering purposes. Like, if you do trailer the boat, it protects the boat. Your anchor locker is up here. Once again, everything's on stainless steel. You notice the strut, keep your anchor locker open. Everything is designed to make your boating experience easy. Okay, so this will stay up while you're getting your anchor out, and it locks nice and tight. Also on the side of the boat, you'll notice all the graphics are all in the gel coat. There's no taped on tape, basically, that's going to peel and discolor over time. These are permanent into the side of the boat. And that's common throughout every Cobalt, whether it's a full hull side color with an accent stripe, they're all in the gel coat, permanently in the boat. So we're moving into the interior now. And the number one comment I get when people come up to the back of the boat, and the first comment they make is, wow, this boat is so wide. Cobalt, a couple of years ago, went on what they call their free space reclamation project. And by bringing the hull sides up higher and shortening up the decks, they've opened up far more usable interior space in the boat. If you put a tape measure in this boat compared to a competitor's 23-foot boat, you would find that this is anywhere from 8 to 10 inches more usable width in this Cobalt boat. The double wide passenger seat there is a testimony to that fact. People love it. There's just far more room to move around the boat, add some extra seating to the boat, and it just gives you a feeling of more spaciousness. One of the really nice features of any Cobalt is their upholstery work. I've been down to the factory 15, 16 times, I guess, and one of my favorite areas to look at is the upholstery section. These ladies are just absolutely amazing the way they do all they're operating their machines. Everything is double stitched. The lines are perfectly straight. You look at the dash, you look at the seats, you can see the double stitching. The vinyl itself is super tough. It's very, very comfortable. It's a non-expanded vinyl, so it sort of gives you that leathery feel. Very, very comfortable. Every dash layout with Cobalt is very clean and easy to read. Nice large gauges. Show you all your engine functions. Notice the windshield as well. It's a squared off windshield. What that does, it opens up more space for the dash area. Same with the passenger area over here. Lots of room. There's always place for all your knickknacks, glove box. But everything's very clean. Again, notice all the stitching and everything on the dash is precise. You don't see anything waviness or anything like that with this. Everything is done to perfection. It's all hand stitched, beautifully done. Okay, common to every Cobalt is massive storage areas. We can start with the floor locker here. This is a lockable compartment, so you can keep things safe in there. Notice how it's double strutted, the lid, so you don't have to take the lid off, put it somewhere. It's very, very solid, doesn't wiggle around too much. And it's basically rubber lined down here as well. So anything that's metal that you put down here or paddles, they don't rattle around. You don't hear the noise coming from the floor locker. But it's very, very deep. You can put a lot of stuff down there. And like I said, it is lockable, so it can stay safe if you're stopped somewhere for lunch or whatever. Also back here, we have storage under all these seats. They're all lined again. Everything is finished. Everywhere you look on a Cobalt is finished. Even the underside of the seat, it's all nicely finished off. Huge hinging. It's not little flimsy hinges. Everything is built to last on a Cobalt. Okay, similar on this side here. This is a dedicated, fully insulated cooler. There's one of these on every single Cobalt too. And they are self-draining too. So as you can fill it full of ice, and there's a drain plug there. You just release the drain plug. As your ice melts, it just drains automatically. Okay, moving to the bow area. We have extensive storage up here. This is common in all Cobalts as well. Huge areas to put all your safety gear or anything else you may want to bring on board. Raincoats, extra blankets, whatever. It's lots of room for all your gear. And very simple to use too. And it'll be the same on both sides. The only time it's not the same on both sides is when there's a head unit in some of the larger models. But again, lots of storage, which is something you cannot have enough of in a boat. Also on Cobalt, they really take care of the cup holder situation. They're all stainless steel again. 4 in the bow area, and I believe there's 8 in the cockpit area of this particular model. The larger the boat, the more cup holders you get. A few years ago, Cobalt came up with what they call their fender clip system. Deploying your fenders in a boat has always been a bit of an issue. You're tying it up to one of the mooring cleats, or you have other little funky things you're trying to get these things onto. Cobalt has simplified the whole process with this fender clip system. So what it is, it's a line that comes from Cobalt. We supply the fenders, and it's tied off at whatever height you want it. And to deploy it, there's these fittings here on the boat. You just put the pin in, push the button, and they're on. Now they're locked on. They're not going to fall off if you do happen to forget to take them off. And when you're coming away from your dock and you take your fenders off, push the button, pull it out. It's very simple. You can store the whole system under, probably in the floor locker or under one of the seats or whatever. But it's really simplified the whole fender clip system. Moving on to the engine compartments here. This is pretty common with all Cobalts. One thing to notice is the extra wide hinging on the engine lid. It just keeps it nice and sturdy. Our competitors use hinges usually about half that size. Okay, but once again, Cobalt always does things that are going to last forever. The engines we use mostly Volvo. This is a couple of years ago, Volvo came out with what they call their new generation engines that have a lot of really nice features on them. Number one, there's your cooling reservoir there. So they're all what they technically call closed cooling engines. That will circulate through the block, keeping it nice and cool from an operating temperature. The manifolds are still water cooled. And Volvo's got this quick drain system here. So you just remove the safety pin, push this down, and the manifolds will drain automatically. Pull it back up, reinsert the safety pin, and you're good to go. This allows you to run the boat earlier in the season or later in the season without worrying about any freeze up. Also, something you can't see here, but these new generation engines feature variable valve timing, which what that translates into from an operating perspective is your whole acceleration curve is very uniform. This boat, when you can be cruising along at 30 miles an hour, you touch that throttle and it will actually throw you back in your seat a little bit. Very, very responsive. These new engines are far more fuel efficient than ever, which is always a question we get asked in the boating world. You know, the fuel economy is never good, but they're certainly getting a whole lot better with this with these new generation engines. The blocks are lighter too, so you have a better horsepower to weight ratio. Far more performance from these engines. For more information on this boat or any other boat that we sell here at Walker's Point Marina, please contact our sales department.